Hi, this is Hai Yang. I'm continuing Hai Yang Zendo, my videos for Hai Yang Zendo. I've been on hiatus. I've been on a break for a couple years. And of course, that hasn't halted my exploration. It hasn't halted my efforts. It's just been that I didn't feel like doing any of these, and now I'm back again. And I've said before that I appreciate this platform. Thank you, YouTube. I love this way of looking in my eyes and imagining that there's some people out there. It's never been a lot, let's be honest, and it's okay. That's fine with me because this has been more of a documentary for me, autobiographical documentary for me, just to try to share my experiences and my foibles and my misfires and my limited successes. And I'm back full cycle. It's been really a wild ride. I've been meditating since I was 15, and I'm soon to turn 75. So that's pretty simple math. But I think the transition, I started out with Paramahamsa Yogananda and Kriya Yoga, and I really loved Paramahamsa. And of course, he was gone. 1952, he passed. He arose. But I'd been to his Malibu retreat, and it was firm follower from Autobiography of a Yogi, which I found on my mother's bookshelf at the tender age of about 13, probably. And this was a pretty good introduction, especially to the Hinduism and all the mysticism and all the traditional trappings that went with Hinduism. And then I was attracted to, I was attracted to the purity and apparent simplicity of Zen. And I was introduced to Renzai Zen in Hawaii and in Japan. And had an opportunity to have a Roshi, a teacher. I got my koan, which it took me 40 or 50 years to solve. A koan, for those of you that don't know, is kind of a puzzle. It's kind of a mind puzzle that's supposed to help you transcend the normal mechanisms that we use to solve problems. And now I went into Chan Buddhism, kind of the Bodhidharma, the 28th patriarch from India, and the Buddha lineage went to southern China, and he's responsible for martial arts. He introduced martial arts to the temples in China because he found that people were just vegging out. They needed to be active. And he himself is funny because before he made this transition, before he introduced these arts, he himself spent 9 or 11 years in a small little cubicle, facing with his back to the door, no window. And he spent about 9 to 11 years. I've read both numbers, 9 or 11. They're both kind of good numbers. And then he came out, and he started traveling some and spreading the word, spreading the gospel, as Christians would say. And Shaolin Temple and all those places that are famous for martial arts. He was the impetus. He said, "You guys have been doing you're bookworms. You've been doing too much reading, too much sitting, too much meditation. Let's get up. Let's move." So I came from that kind of tradition where I spent 33 years in that in those studies. Now I'm back to Hinduism again, basically with heavy Buddhist roots, Tibetan Buddhism, Chan Buddhism, my Zazen, my Japanese Renzai Zen, all of this mixture. But I found an outlet. I found a way to bridge the schism, because that's part of what I've always wanted to accomplish in life, is bridge schisms. And I saw that Advaita Vedanta was very close to the essence of Zen. And it offers the four yogas. Hinduism offers the four yogas of jnana yoga, which is the path of knowledge, karma yoga, which is the path of action, bhakti yoga, which is the path of devotion, compassion, and then it has two names: Raju yoga, the royal path, Raha, and more commonly known as Kriya. But it's all about energy. And so one of our combination of these, the idea being one of the combination of these four yogas would be perfectly suited for you. And I was an intellectual. I'd been to university. I'm a professor, retired professor. So I went with jhana, the path of taking information to knowledge and ultimately mining it, panning it for gold, getting the nuggets of wisdom. And then I studied this quite, like I'm prone to do, diligently, in a casual way, if that makes any sense to you. I've always been willing to cut myself a break. I haven't been driven to the point of asceticism or extremes. Buddha talked about the middle way, and even though I had a tendency to still overdo things, I remembered the middle way and calmed that instinct to just push beyond the comfort zones, which is a good thing. But too much, too far, too long starts to become not such a good thing. So now I've moved from the eastern side of the island of Taiwan down to the southwest. And it's a big city. I went from the countryside to a big city. It's a big transition. Usually people take their study away from the city. I took mine from pretty much rural settings. And now, in the twilight of my years, I came back to the city. There's a lot of conveniences here for me. I don't have to drive anymore. I was getting to not be able to focus enough on my driving that I'm still love driving. 50 years of driving, almost as long as meditation. Well, I got my license. I started meditating at about 15. So I got my learner's permit at 15, driver's license at 16. So they kind of went hand in hand, and I like the freedom of having a car, but now I'm in a city and I enjoy the convenience. I enjoy the accessibility of pharmacies and grocery stores and restaurants and coffee shops and hospitals, and I enjoy the vitality of the city. Kaohsiung, I'm in Kaohsiung. And it's a history of being an industrial city, but it's really cleaned up its act. That it's got a lot of beauty, a lot of tall buildings with neon lights, and beautiful, beautiful at nighttime. It's scenic. Ocean nearby. I still can have the ocean breeze that I love so much, which I in fact named after. My name is kind of the breeze that blows over the ocean, Haiyang. And so I'm back to, I can still smell the ocean. It's a couple of kilometers away, but it's close enough that it comes in. Anyway, here we are. And my studies have been, that's one consistency in my life has been to continue my studies. That's the consistency. And Advaita Vedanta has really fit the bill. They're just in line with my Zen studies. And it took me to the realization that I left Zen after 33 years because I gave up. And Buddha gave up, and everybody gives up. I gave up, and I woke up. Not shortly after giving up, because I spent 33 years trying to tame the mind. With the mind, as I say, Advaita Gita says, what folly to try to tame the mind with the mind. Yeah. So my idea of what silence is, I'll do a whole video about silence, but my understanding of silence really changed. It's not the absence of words. It's not the absence of thought. It's yet something, another state. Very achievable. It's there for all of us. The Buddha with the self is within, awaiting our discovery, awaiting our self-inquiry, awaiting our awakening. And once you do awaken, nothing is static, and that makes a lot of sense to me. In this world, I don't see anything static. If something becomes static, it's like water that's sitting becomes less than water somehow. Motion and movement is life. Change is life. So now I'm going to continue these talks. Shorten them. I'm looking at 12 minutes right now. Shorten them because a lot of complaints. Anyway, I hope that those of you that listen to the past will continue to listen, and I hope you can glean, I hope you can find something useful with what I want to share. And I'm always open to new people. So, namaste, and we'll see you next time, okay? Soon, I promise.